Okay, so if you decide to use a part practice, there's several things that you can do in part. You can use segmentation, you can use simplification, you can use fractionization. So we know that part practice simplifies a skill. We know that it increases success, so it ultimately increases motivation, and then you can also practice the weaker parts. So here are some techniques that you can use. First one that you can use is segmentation. So segmentation, think about segments, okay? So the skill is separated into parts by spatial and temporal components. Spatial is where you are in space, and temporal has to do with timing. So here's a part to whole method of teaching somebody how to do the drop kick. So you could teach them the catch, teach them the approach, teach them the drop, teach them the kick, and then you combine those all together. You also have, as part of segmentation, known as progressive part method. So you do the catch and approach, and you combine those and practice those. Then you add the drop, and then you combine those. And then you add the kick, and you combine those all together. So you're progressively adding a skill so that that skill becomes a whole skill. And then you can do the repetitive part. Catch, catch and approach, catch, approach, and drop. And so you're repetitively completing all of those parts of that particular skill. Segmentation, another method of segmentation is forward and backward chaining. So forward chaining is you teach the skill in the forward progression of that, and then backward chaining would be where you teach the skill from the finished product to the beginning product. Sometimes that can help people conceptualize, okay, this is where I'm going to end, so if I work from the end backwards to the front, then I can understand that skill a little bit more. Fractionization is defined as the skill components that are typically performed simultaneously and partitioned into practice and independent examples. And so learning how to play the instruments, I'll post this video so you guys can look at that. But sailing, for example, here's a good example. Those of you who've done outdoor ed, when you go out and sail, you have to do multiple things at the same time. But prior to you going on the lake, she'll teach you okay, how do I hold the mast? When do I flip the mast? When do I duck? When do I, pull the board out, and so forth. And so you teach each one of those components independently, and you practice them independently, and then you ultimately put those together. So you fraction it up. And then simplification is just you are reducing the difficulty of the task. So you're taking a task like T-ball, for instance, instead of you pitching the ball where the kid's got to figure out when they need to swing the bat and where they need to be, we can simplify that and say, okay, we're going to put the ball on the tee, and we're going to let you hit the ball off the tee. So here's some examples. You can modify the equipment. You can reduce the coordination requirements. So T-ball is a great example. They don't require coordination, just have to hit the ball. I used another example here, training wheels on a bicycle. I don't have to coordinate very well. I just have to put the training wheels on. Change the environment complexity. Don't make the environment going from an open environment to a closed. So if I'm a quarterback and I'm practicing throwing, I can practice in a closed environment to work on accuracy and then progress. And then using skill building activities, and then sequence again from simple to complex. So you got segmentation, you got simplification, and you got fractionization if you take the part method as the method that you're going to use to teach a skill.